attention. Then she repeats what she just said in Spanish, though it seems as if she tosses in a few extra phrases. I don't know why she hasn't figured it out yet. If she just taught us all the swear words the first day, we would have done whatever she wanted the rest of the year. Detention does not sound appealing. I do my homework, choose 5 verbs and conjugate them. To translate, traducer, I traducate. To flunk, for Kaiser, yo, I'm almost for Kaisering. To hide, escondar. To escape, escapar. To forget, olvidar. Just in case we forget that we're here to get a good foundation so we can go to college, live up to our potential, get a good job, live happily ever after, and go to Disney World, we have a job day. Like all things high school, it starts with a test of my desires and my dreams. Do I A, prefer to spend time with a large group of people? B, prefer to spend time with a small group of close friends? C, prefer to spend time with my family? Or D, prefer to spend time alone? Am I A, a helper? B, a doer? C, a planner? Or D, a dreamer? If I were tied to railroad tracks and the 315 train to Rochester was ready to cut a path across my middle, would I A, scream for help? B, ask my little mice friends to chew through the ropes? C, remember that my favorite jeans were in the dryer and were hopelessly wrinkled? Or D, close my eyes and pretend nothing was wrong? 200 questions later, I get my results. I should consider a career in A, forestry, B, firefighting, C, communications, D, mortuary science. Heather's results are clear. She should be a nurse. It makes her jump up and down. Heather, this is the best. I know exactly what I'm going to do. I'll be a candy striper at the hospital this summer. Why don't you do it with me? I'll study real hard in biology and go to SU and get my RN. What a great plan. How could she know this? I don't know what I'm doing in the next 5 minutes, and she has the next 10 years figured out. I'll worry about making it out of 9th grade alive. Then I'll think about a career path. Mr. Neck storms into class, a bull chasing 33 red flags. We slide into our seat. I think for sure he's going to explode, which he does, but in an unpredictable, faintly educational way. Immigration, he writes it on the board. I'm pretty sure he spelled it right. Mr. Neck, my family has been in this country for over 200 years. We built this place, fought in every war from the first one to the last one, paid taxes, and voted. A cartoon thought bubble forms over the heads of everyone in the class. Will this be on the test? Mr. Neck, so tell me why my son can't get a job. A few hands creep skyward. Mr. Neck ignores them. It is a pretend question, one he asked so he could give the answer. I relax. This is like when my father complains about his boss. The best thing to do is to stay awake and blink sympathetically. His son wanted to be a firefighter, but didn't get the job. Mr. Neck is convinced that this is some kind of reverse discrimination. He says we should close our borders so that real Americans can get the jobs they deserve. The job test said that I would be a good firefighter. I wonder if I could take a job away from Mr. Neck's son. That'd be pretty good. I tune out and focus on my doodle, a pine tree. I've been trying to carve a linoleum block in art class. The problem with the block is that there's no way to correct mistakes. Every mistake I make is frozen in the picture. So I have to think ahead. Mr. Neck writes on the board again, debased. America should have closed her borders in 1900. That strikes a nerve, several nerves. I can see kids counting backward on their fingers trying to figure out when their grandparents or great-grandparents were born, when they came to America, if they would have made the neck cut. When they figure out they would have been stuck in a country that hated them, or a place with no schools, or a place with no future, their hands shoot up. They beg to differ with Mr. Neck's learned opinion. I don't know where my family came from. Someplace cold where they eat beans on Thursday and hang their wash on the line on Monday. I don't know how long we've been in America. We've been in the school district since I was in the first grade. That must count for something. I start on an apple. The arguments jump back and forth across the room. A few suck-ups quickly figure out which side Mr. Neck is squatting on, so they fight to throw out the foreigners. Anyone whose family immigrated in the last century has a story to tell about how hard their relatives have worked, the contributions they make to the country, the taxes they pay. A member of the archery club tries to say that we are all foreigners and we should give the country back to the Native Americans, but she is buried under disagreement. Mr. Neck enjoys the noise, until one kid challenges him directly. Brave kid. Maybe your son didn't get that job because he's not good enough, or he's lazy, or the other guy was better than him, no matter what his skin color. I think the white people who have been here for 200 years are the ones pulling down the country. They don't know how to work. They've had it too easy. The pro-immigration forces erupt in applause and hooting. Mr. Nephew, you watch your mouth, mister. You are talking about my son. I don't want to hear any more from you. Of course, he brought his son into it in the first place, so.
Right, exactly.
That's enough debate. Get your books out. The neck is back in control. Showtime is over. I try to draw a branch coming out of the tree for the 315th time. It looks so flat. A cheap, cruddy drawing. I have no idea how to make it come alive. I am so focused, I don't notice at first that David Petrakis, my lab partner, has stood up. The class stops talking. I put my pencil down. Mr. Neck, Mr. Petrakis, take your seat. David Petrakis is never, ever in trouble. He is the kid who wins perfect attendance records, who helps the staff chase down bugs in the computer files of report cards. I'd chew a hangnail on my pinky. What is he thinking? Has he flipped, finally cracked under pressure of being smarter than everyone? David, if the class is debating, then each student has the right to say what's on his mind. Mr. Neck, I decide who talks in here. David, you opened a debate. You close it just because it's not going your way. Mr. Neck, watch me. Take your seat, Mr. Petrakis. David, the Constitution does not recognize different classes of citizenship based on time spent living in the country. I am a citizen with the same rights as your son or you. As a citizen and a student, I am protesting the tone of this lesson as racist, intolerant, and xenophobic. Mr. Neck, sit your butt in that chair, Petrakis, and watch your mouth. I try to get a debate going in here, and you people turn it into a race thing. Sit down, or you're going to the principal. David stares at Mr. Neck, looks at the flag for a minute, then picks up his books, and walks out of the room. He says a million things without saying a word. I make a note to study David Petrakis. I have never heard a more eloquent silence. The Pilgrims gave thanks at Thanksgiving because the Native Americans saved their sorry butts from starving. I give thanks at Thanksgiving because my mother finally goes to work and my father orders pizza. My normally harried, rushed mother always turns into a strung-out retail junkie just before Turkey Day. It's because of Black Friday and the day after Thanksgiving, the start of Christmas shopping season. If she doesn't sell 1 billion shirts and 12 million belts on Black Friday, the world will end. She lives on cigarettes and black coffee, swearing like a rap star, and calculating spreadsheets in her head. The goals she sets for her store are totally unrealistic, and she knows it. She can't help herself. It's like watching someone caught in an electric fence, twitching and squirming and very stuck. Every year, just when she's stressed to a snapping point, she cooks Thanksgiving dinner. We beg her not to. We plead with her, send anonymous notes. She doesn't listen. I go to bed the night before Thanksgiving at 10 p.m. She's pounding on a laptop at the dining room table. When I come downstairs Thanksgiving morning, she's still there. I don't think she slept. She looks up at me in my robe and bunny slippers. Oh, damn, she says, the turkey. I peel potatoes while she gives the frozen turkey a hot bath. The windows fog up, separating us from the outside. I want to suggest that we have something else for dinner. Spaghetti maybe, or sandwiches. But I know she wouldn't take it the right way. She hacks at the guts of the turkey with an ice pick to get out the bag of body parts. I'm impressed. Last year she cooked the bird with the bag inside. I did that one time. I forgot to take the bag out and make the turkey with the innards. Cooking Thanksgiving dinner means something to her. It's like a holy obligation, part of what makes her a wife and a mother. My family doesn't talk much, and we have nothing in common. But if my mother cooks the proper Thanksgiving dinner, it says we'll be a family for one more year. Kodak logic, only in a film commercial does stuff like that work. I finish the potatoes. She sends me to the TV to watch the parade. Dad stumbles downstairs. How is he asks before he goes in the kitchen. It's Thanksgiving, I said. Dad puts on his coat. Donuts? He asks, I know. The phone rings, Mom answers, it's the store. Emergency number 1. I go into the kitchen for a soda. She pours me orange juice, which I can't drink because it burns my scabby lips. The turkey floats in the sink, a 10-pound turkey iceberg. A turkey burn. I feel very much like the Titanic. Mom hangs up and chases me out with instructions to take a shower and clean my room. I soak in the bathtub, I fill my lungs with air and float on top of the water, then blow out all of my breath and sink to the bottom. I put my head underwater to listen to my heartbeat. The phone rings again. Emergency number 2. By the time I'm dressed, the parades are over and Dad is watching football. Confectioner Sugar dusts the stubble on his face. I don't like it when he bumps around the house on holidays. I like my dad clean shaven and wearing a suit. He motions for me to get out of the way so he can see the screen. Mom is on the phone. Emergency number 3. The long curly cord snakes around and around her thin body, like a rope tying her to a stake. 2 drumstick tips poke out of an enormous pot of boiling water. She is boiling the frozen turkey. It's too big for the microwave, she explains. It will be thawed soon. She puts a finger in her free ear to concentrate on what the phone is telling her. I take a plain donut from the bag and go back to my room. 3 magazines later, my parents are arguing. Not a rip roar, a simmering argument, a few bubbles splashing at the stove. I want another donut, but don't feel like waiting through the fight to get it. They retreat to their corners when the phone rings again. Here's my chance. Mom has the phone to her ear when I walk in the kitchen, but she isn't listening to it. She rubs steam from the window and stares to the backyard. I join her at the sink. Dad strides across the backyard wearing an oven mitt and carrying a steaming turkey by one leg. He said it would take hours to thaw, mutters Mom. A tiny voice squeaks from the receiver. No, not you, Ted, she tells the phone. Dad lays the turkey on the chopping block and picks up his hatchet. Whack. The hatchet sticks in the frozen turkey flesh. He saws back and forth. Whack. A slice of frozen turkey slides to the ground. He picks it up and waves it out the window. Mom turns her back to him and tells Ted she's on her way. After Mom leaves for the store, Dad takes over the dinner. It's the principle of the thing. If he gripes about the way she handled Thanksgiving, then he has to prove he can do a better job. He brings in the butchered dirty meat and washes it in the sink with detergent and hot water. He rinses off his hatchet. Dad, just like the old days. Right, Millie? Fella goes out to the woods and brings home dinner. This isn't so difficult. Cooking just requires some organization and the ability to read. Now give me the bread. I'm going to make real stuffing the way my mother used to. You don't need the help. Why don't you do some homework, maybe some extra credit work, pull those grades up. I'll call you when dinner's ready. I think about studying, but it's a holiday, so I park myself on the living room couch and watch an old movie instead. I smell smoke twice, once when the glass shatters on the floor, and listen in on the other phone to his conversation with the turkey hotline lady. She says turkey soup is the best part of Thanksgiving anyway. He called me to the kitchen an hour later with fake enthusiasm of a father who has screwed up big time. Bones are heaped on the cutting board. A pot of blue boils on the stove. Bits of gray, green, and yellow roll in the white paste. Dad, it's supposed to be soup. Me, silence. Dad, it tasted a bit watery, so I kept adding thickener. I put in some corn and peas. Me, silence. Dad, pulling wallet from back pocket. Call for pizza. I'll get rid of this. I order double cheese, double mushroom. Dad buries the soup in the backyard next to our dead beagle, Ariel.